deep in the heart of South America lies a mystery that has captivated explorers, conquistadors, and dreamers for centuries. A tale of unimaginable wealth, a city of pure gold, and a legend that would drive men to madness. This is the story of El Dorado, the lost city of gold. But to understand the legend of El Dorado, we must first journey back to the 16th century, when Spanish conquistadors first set foot in the New World, their hearts burning with an insatiable hunger for gold and glory. The name El Dorado means the golden one in Spanish. But what began as a description of a man would eventually transform into the myth of an entire golden city. And like all great legends, this one began with a grain of truth. In the highlands of ancient Colombia lived the Muisca people. They practiced a fascinating ritual that would become the seed of the El Dorado legend. When a new chieftain was to be crowned, he would undergo a remarkable ceremony. The chosen leader would cover himself in gold dust and make offerings of gold and precious emeralds to their gods by throwing them into Lake Guatavita. Imagine this scene. At dawn, the future king would be led to the sacred lake. His body would be anointed with sticky resin and then meticulously covered with gold dust until he shone like a living statue. He would then board a raft decorated with gold and emeralds, accompanied by his highest priests. As the morning mist cleared, they would row to the center of the lake. There, amidst burning incense and the chants of priests, the golden man would cast precious offerings into the deep waters below. When Spanish conquistadors heard tales of this golden man from native informants, their imagination ran wild. If a mere ceremony involved such casual use of gold, surely there must be a kingdom where gold was as common as dirt. Thus began one of history's greatest wild goose chases. The first major expedition in search of El Dorado was led by Gonzalo Jimenez de Quesada in 1536. For 2 years, he led his men through the merciless Colombian jungle. Hundreds died from disease, starvation, and attacks by indigenous peoples. While Quesada did eventually find the Muiscas and their gold, he never found the legendary city he sought. This didn't stop others from trying. In 1545, the Spanish attempted to drain Lake Guatavita, the site of the original Golden Man ceremony. They managed to lower the water level enough to retrieve some gold artifacts from the edges, but the bulk of the lake's legendary treasure remained out of reach. As the years passed, the legend grew. El Dorado was no longer just a man. It had become a city, then an empire. The story spread across Europe, drawing adventurers like moths to a flame. Each failed expedition only seemed to fuel the mystery further. One of the most famous seekers was Sir Walter Raleigh, the English explorer and favorite of Queen Elizabeth I. In 1595, Raleigh led an expedition up the Orinoco River in present-day Venezuela. He was convinced that El Dorado lay somewhere in Guyana. Raleigh wrote extensively about his journey, claiming to have found evidence of the Golden City. His writings sparked a new wave of European interest in the legend, but like all who came before him, Raleigh never found El Dorado. His obsession would ultimately contribute to his downfall and execution in 1618. The search for El Dorado had real consequences for the indigenous peoples of South America. Communities were destroyed, cultures were disrupted, and countless lives were lost in the Europeans' relentless pursuit of gold. Today, archaeologists have uncovered much about the true history behind the legend. The Muisca civilization was indeed wealthy and sophisticated, with remarkable gold-working skills. but their gold had primarily religious and cultural significance, not monetary value. The Spanish conquistadors' obsession with gold's material worth blinded them to the deeper meaning of these sacred objects. Yet even in the 21st century, the legend of El Dorado continues to captivate our imagination. Every few years, new theories emerge about its possible location. Remote sensing technology and satellite imagery have revealed numerous archaeological sites hidden beneath the Amazon rainforest. Modern technology has shown us that the Amazon was home to many complex civilizations that built impressive cities and managed the landscape on a massive scale. While these discoveries aren't El Dorado as the Spanish imagined it, they're perhaps even more valuable, offering insights into sophisticated societies that thrived in the Amazon for centuries. Ironically, the real cities of gold in South America would come centuries later, not in the form of mythical kingdoms, but as mining operations that have extracted billions of dollars worth of gold from the continent. But this modern gold rush has brought its own set of problems, from environmental destruction to social conflict. Today, the true treasure of the regions where explorers once sought El Dorado isn't gold. It's the incredible biodiversity of the Amazon rainforest, the cultural heritage of indigenous peoples, and the crucial role these ecosystems play in our planet's health. The legend of El Dorado teaches us something profound about human nature, our capacity to believe in something so completely that we'll risk everything to find it. While the city of gold never existed as the Spanish imagined, the quest for El Dorado led to real discoveries and shaped the history of South America in lasting ways. Lake Guatavita, where the legend began, still sits serenely in the Colombian highlands. Its waters still hold secrets, not just gold artifacts, but a reminder of the complex civilization that once flourished here. The Muisca people's real treasure wasn't gold, but their rich culture, advanced engineering, and deep connection to the natural world. In the end, perhaps the real El Dorado isn't a place at all, but a reminder of humanity's eternal quest for something greater than ourselves. Whether it's knowledge, wisdom, or understanding, we continue to seek our own versions of El Dorado. The story of El Dorado remains one of history's most enduring legends, a tale of greed, adventure, and the human capacity for both destruction and discovery. While the City of Gold was never found, the legacy of its quest continues to influence our understanding of South America's past and shape its future. As we look back on the legend of El Dorado, we might ask ourselves, what are today's El Dorados? What impossible dreams drive us forward? And what treasures might we discover while searching for something that never existed?